Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
Kenny Milton Adams, Jr., Woodrow Dennis Adler, Raymond Joseph Ahern, Jr., Roger Dean Allgaier, John Anthony Allen, John Baxter Allen, John Stephen Alling, Jr., Frank Leroy Allred, Jr., Timothy Ernest Battistane, Lawrence Anthony Barklow, Donald Albert Basala, Troy Beelan, Stephen Carl Beals, William Dale Beeson, Hardy Lee Bell, Dale Porter Bertu, Robert Donald Butel, Jonathan Blue, Jr., Donald Raymond Bonko, James Terry Bowens, Herbert Owen Brennan, Michael Paul Brown, Gary Wayne Buchanan, James Joseph Buonaiuto, Edward Dale Burkett, Earl Kenneth Burns, Jr., Lloyd Allen Chess, Douglas Craig Condit, Stephen Mark Connell, Jerry Wayne Corcoran, Thomas Leroy Doherty, Porter Thad Davis, Edward Thompson Davis, Jr., Wesley David Day, Hank John Conrad DeHummel, Michael Daniel Deason, Darwin James Delano, Gerald Anthony DeMunda, Charles Dennis, Dieter Walter Dietz, Harold Arthur Doman, James Donald Duran, Paul Michael Duman, William Michael Ebel, Charles Long Faulkner, Monico Flores Jr., Danny Lee Fry, Marvin Jerome Gaines, Samuel Lee Gant, Clive Garcia Jr., Stanley Richard Gleisinger, Harold Leonard Graves, Jerry Lane Green, Johnny Glenn Gregg, Joseph Wayne Harrison, Greg Hartness, Richard Edward Hayes, Lyle Dennis Hayes, Gerald Ray Hendrickson, Manuel Hernandez, James William Hickey, Edward C. Higgins III, Carol Jean Hogeman, Albert Hugh Horton, Harold Dean Husker, Richard Paul Houston, Ralph Howell, John Richard Humphrey, Gary Lynn Ihrig, Robert Ernest Jones, Edward Lemoyne Kerr, David Edward Killian, Lawrence George Koch, William Andrew Kunke, Ronald Lon Littell, Cecil Dwight Lamb, Michael George Lancamer, Marcella Raymond Lanzone, Dwayne Allen Lickle, Charles Patrick Leroux, Dennis Lane Long, Ronald Raymond Lowry, William Affley Lynch, Jr., Baltazar A. Maldonado, Jimmy Clifton Mathis, Norman Wayne McRoby, James Leonard Melvin, John A. Mercurio, William Franklin Merrill, Donald Henry Michalecki, Ronald David Miles, Charles David Miller, Ronald John Moe, Miguel F. Montanez, Leroy Nesmith, James Henry Newcomer,
James Edward Oxley, Evangelis Pagan Rodriguez, Michael J. Pasafume, Bobby James Perkins, Pietro Picconi, Douglas Jack Pierce, Charles R. Pitts, James Richard Plate, Jerry Potts, William Henry Prothero, Adrian Floyd Purnell, Curtis Hall Rayner, Arthur John Rambo, Diego Ramirez Jr., Terry Lynn Rexroth, Philip Eugene Richard, Arthur William Regal Jr., Alden Laverne Riley, David Gerald Ritz, Holly Boyd Russell, Barry Frank Scott, Rayford Neal Sewell, George Arthur Shavies, Lonnie Lee Silver, Lawrence Claude Smith, Marshall Roy Smith, Patrick Edward Smith, Jr., Carl David Sobolik, James Hall Spann, David Joe Stansbury, James Eugene Stedman, Alan Ralph Steffen, Charles Bennett Stiegel, Walter Suhar, David Leroy Tasker, Robert Dwight Taylor, Michael John Thurkettle, Oscar Lee Thomas, Joe H. Trickey, Jr., William F. Van Cleve, Jesse Lyle Waltman, James Edward Webb, Richard Ernest Welch, Paul Robert West, Bobby Lee Williams, Dennis Paul Wright,